Last week we presented to the Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary School, Mr. Conrad Saki, a 70-point resolutions we have made or issues that we believe should be addressed by the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education and the Teaching Service Commission. We believe these 17 points, if addressed immediately, can help in the fostering of the free quality education by government.
But Mr. Kwate, the urgency of this, the demands you are making, do you think at the start of the year, this is January, do you think your demands, will be met or adhered to, taking into consideration that even the first quarter, allocations are yet to be made?
We believe that these demands we are making now should have been addressed last academic year, 2022-2023. And it is disheartening for you to note that a good number of these demands that should be addressed last year are still not yet been addressed. And I want to crave your indulgence to listen to these 17 points for you to know the seriousness of them. Let me start with the payment of salary increase. We had negotiations with government last year on which government said it would give teachers 45% salary increase. 15% 2023, another 15% this January 2024, another 15% next year 2025. Even though we are dissatisfied as a union because of this installment in the payment of this, we wanted the 45% to be paid, looking at the economic trend of things in our country, the inflationary rate and the high cost of living. It is in this country that a trained and qualified teacher receive 1,200, 1,300 per month. So that's also why we went into a negotiation with government. So last year in January, the government gave us 15%. So it remains what? 30%. We told government that if you give us all this 30% this January, it can help increasing the economic effect of our teachers. So we met the Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary School last week, Monday, and he said, Mr. Kuyate or SLT, we cannot give you the 30% because government don't have the money. But what we want to assure you is that this year, this January, at the end of January, when salaries are paid, teachers of this country receive the 50%.
But Mr. Kuyate, it seems as though you are using the Oliver Twist kind of approach. It's like when you are giving, you ask for more, and the government doesn't have the means, to give you what you want.
And that is why trading organizations are created all over the world to seek the welfare of our members. These members are employees of government. If they are not receiving a living wage, let me use the word living wage for goodness sake, I don't want to compare other workers of Sierra Leone with our teachers. There are some parastatals. Some workers receive 30,000 millions per month. Can you imagine a teacher with a master's degree receive 1,500? So this is why, as a union, we always ask for more, because what is given to us is not enough.
So, Mr. Kuyate, you want us to allow you to go through the 17 points, but time is not our friend, and therefore we cannot.
Okay.
But why are you only asking for this now? Is it a way of saying that because already you have an examination pending? Am I right?
Yeah.
You are supposed to start taking your exams, the examination that will give you certificate to be certified as a teacher in Sierra Leone. Is it a way of you guys boycotting that exam?
No. This collective agreement was signed with us and government last year, far before this licenses of teacher. It is an agreement, and we are saying it has to be abided by. So what we are saying is that government has decided to give us the 15%, okay, for this year. So coming to teacher license source is another matter all by itself. And it is best practice all over the world. In Nigeria, in Ghana, in Kenya, in other African countries. Before you become a teacher, you have to be licensed. Just like the lawyers. They have to
but Mr. Kwate, there's now an agreement, there's now an arrangement, for you guys to be licensed. So it's like being a licensed teacher also gives the authorities, for example, the Teaching Service Commission, to even withdraw or retrieve your license from you. But the thing is that is a different ball game. Now, tell us, are you calling for this at this particular point in time because you know that these are crucial times, and you think this is the best way, this is the best approach to use to ensure that you get what you want?
As a trading organization, it's part of our mandate that if we have agreed, we have signed an agreement with government should abide by those agreements. And that's all we are asking for. It is documented, it is in our collective agreement that we have agreed that government should provide. We are asking for 30%. If they don't have it, then let them give us what we agreed on, which is the 15% this year.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much, please, Mr. Kuyate. And this is the Secretary General of Western Area Teachers Union, and the program is Good Morning, say Leone. Unfortunately, we cannot continue with Mr. Kuyate because our studio today is full of issues. So, Mr. Kuyate, you are always here. I will definitely have to talk to you some other time. But we have to go for a short break, and when we come back, we're going to deal with one of our headline stories.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Nkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruits and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar, neat fufu flour, shito, pisa, and moringa. All available at Nyami Ado Enterprise, 1 Lower Waterloo Street, Freetown.
Nkulenu palm soup base.
Ghanaian original taste.
Welcome back. The program is Good Morning, say Leone, and you can have your say by sending your comments and views to the number on your screen, or you do follow us on our Facebook page at SABC Channel 31 Live. We now go to one of our headline stories. The Anti-Corruption Commission has in a press release informed the populace that it had commenced investigation into corruption allegation against the Clerk of Parliament, Honorable Paran Umar Tarawali, and his wife, Mrs. Abiatu Tarawali. According to the release, the commission is investigating allegations that the Clerk of Parliament employed his wife without due process. Meanwhile, the ACC is also investigating high-profile cases such as the 40 billion fraud at NIA and the Ministry of Finance, Accountant General for the transfer of 6.5 billion loans transferred to a bank in Kabbalah. The Commissioner of ACC, Francis Ben Kaifala, is our studio guest this morning, and he's here to give us update. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the program.
Very good morning to you.
So I'm going to start with your words. It was you who said that we have identified corruption as a common enemy. We must now attack this menace because it threatens our very survival. Let's use those words that you said before now to update the public about these current situations we have.
Correct. And I'm here to answer all your questions in that regard.
Okay. So look, let's go through these words you said once.
Well, the ones are basically saying that the country, we are at the stage where we need to identify a common problem that we've had for generations, which really is the major inhibiting factor for our progress and development as a country. And basically those wars are reinforcing the need for us to work together to change the destiny and story of Sierra Leone by consistently tackling corruption and holding ourselves accountable as a people. That is the only way we can really change our stories. Countries do not change merely because people go to mosques and churches and pray. It's the action of the people who live in the country that contribute to that, and then God can provide His own blessings and support.
Tackling corruption, according to you, and we are at a time where people who are supposed to uphold the rule of law, who are supposed to be watchdogs, are now coming under they are now coming under your scrutiny as a result of corruption. The very menace you said is threatening our society. Right. So let's talk about Parliament. The Clerk of Parliament, it's an alleged situation, but we had your head of public relations here the other day, and he said the lady in question, the wife of the Clerk of Parliament, has already started refunding the money that she's been accused of receiving without going to work.
So first of all, let's take it by, yes, indeed there is a justified claim that the wife of the Clerk of Parliament was appointed to a position in Parliament, and our investigation so far established that she indeed worked for about 17 months, and she received a salary of about 7.6 million thereabouts every month, including other benefits. So that allegation played out in public. We went in, invited all of them to the commission. The money she paid we basically calculated at that time how much we thought she had received, because clearly it is very clear that at that time it was clear to us that she hadn't gone to work, and it was a situation whereby she received money she ought not to have received. Okay. So the condition of her bail was set. It's like somebody being arrested and brought to the commission, and then you are told that before you leave, X amount of month that you work, that salary is part of your condition of your bail. So it's basically saying, if you do not pay this money, you will not go home. And that is how they scrambled and came with that money and paid to the commission. So it's not really that I think the public, even in our press release, we made this very clear that as a condition of her bail, she has paid X amount of money. They kept on saying that, oh no, Mrs. Parantawali has paid this amount of money, it's going to be both case, and then nobody knows. That's not true. The truth of the matter is it was a condition of her bail, and that condition of her bail was fulfilled, and that is why she was released on bail.
Okay, so we also have other issues. We are going to continue to talk about the Clerk of Parliament, but now we also have other issue of the Ministry of Finance from the Accountant General Department, where a transfer of 6.5 billion was made to a bank in Kabbalah.
Yes, that is another serious case that we have, whereby a particular payment that was supposed to have been paid to Edward Davis and Associates on behalf of some clients of theirs who engaged in the Kenema Penembu highway construction. It was a backlog payment that goes back years and years that Ministry of Finance tried to repay. And unfortunately, the finance officer at the SLRA, in collusion with some staff at the Accountant General's office or generally in the Ministry of Finance, they colluded together and diverted that money into, firstly they started diverting it into a suspense account. Later they actually opened an account and diverted the bulk of the money there and withdrew it and shared it among themselves. All of them were reported to us by the Ministry of Finance. It is the Ministry of Finance themselves, the Minister, Matthew Dingy and others, who brought this to our attention to say we have discovered that there's an anomaly here. And this anomaly needs to be investigated by the Commission. We immediately went in, arrested all of them, from the staff at the Ministry of the SLRA to the staff at the Ministry of Finance. They still remain in custody. And they were also brought to the Commission whilst investigation continues. As I speak with you now, in that case, the same way we did with the wife of the Honorable Paran, the same thing we did for them. We made it a condition of their bail that before they can be released, the 4.5 billion news that they took from the ministry must be brought to the commission. As I speak to you now, we have about 3.2 billion news sitting in my office as money which they have brought back.
But then the thing is that, how did you conclude that indeed, they took that money? This out of having done your investigations, that you came to realize that
we are experts in corruption. We looked at the volume of money that was complained by the Ministry of Finance. We checked their accounts. We checked how much came out in the bank at Kabbalah, and clearly we are very sure that the money they took out is about that money that you said. It was supposed to be 6-point-something billion, but part of it was intercepted. So when it went into the account of a gentleman called Smart Senesi, it was reversed. So 3-point-something billion euros was already intercepted of that 6-point-something billion you are calling. So it's the 4-point-something billion that is left that we are now recovering from them. But let me make this clear. When recovery is made a condition of bail, it does not mean once that person pays that money, that's the end of the matter. It's basically saying, because most times we do that when the issue is so blatant and clear that there's no argument. It's basically to say, look, we are saving the money, we are cutting the loss of the country. Before even we start speaking with you, bring that money. And most times, because they know that we are uncompromising and we do our job very well, they just pay. And
so what is the status? What is the update on this particular matter? The one that has to do with the money that was transferred into a bank in Kabbalah, which was meant for some kind of rehabilitation or construction of a road leading to Penembu. Where you came from. You understand?
Yeah.
Tell us.
It's the commissioner's hometown money. But what I can tell you is that all of them are still in custody. They have remained in custody since their arrest. And we have made some considerable recovery. We are expecting that we would have recovered the full money by today, and then the full investigations will continue, and then we hold them accountable for their actions.
Okay, now you're talking about high-profile, cases, matters that the country case anti-graft agency is addressing. And the other day it was Dr. Samara Kamara, and also the former president was summoned, to appear before the court. Let us know about some of these cases, because when you talk about high-profile cases, these are the names people want to hear, and we know it is in the public domain, but they were summoned.
Well, yes, the former president and Dr. Samara Kamara and many other people were invited to the commission following conclusions of the Commission of Inquiry review by the Court of Appeal, whereby they were referred to us for investigation. Don't forget, they were referred to us for the commission to investigate them in respect of those issues that the Court of Appeal thought that the Commissions of Inquiry had said that the ACC should look into. So it's like a fresh investigation. So we invited them, we started the investigations. I know that, for example, in the past 3 weeks, Dr. Samara Kamara was at the commission twice. Dr. Ernest Baikroma was at the commission twice as well. And we are now reviewing what we discussed with them in the investigations, and then we'll come out with the conclusions of those investigations and reviews.
Mr. Commissioner, there's this question the public normally asks. Are there secret cows for the ACC?
No, there are no secret cows. The commission does its work. I think the major disconnect we have with the public is sometimes they want things to go in a particular way, but we are professionals. Okay, we take our time. We operate. This is not a banana republic where you just arrest somebody and you take steps. There are processes and procedures you have to follow, and sometimes those processes and procedures take a while. Okay, so for example, I saw how the public was so interested in this issue that concerns the wife of the clerk of parliament. I mean, it's as if they just wanted us now to take her today and bring her to court tomorrow and prosecute her tomorrow.
So why do you think the public
It doesn't
is
happen
interested?
like that. It takes a period of time. We have to investigate. After investigating, we conclude, After we conclude, that is referred to the prosecutors. The prosecutors review the facts and details of the investigators. The prosecutors develop an opinion. That opinion is sent to the commissioner. The commissioner reviews the opinion, and then from that opinion, a decision is taken whether to charge the court or to use other means to settle, to deal with the matter. And then a decision is taken. If the decision is taken to charge the court, the lawyer sometimes will take 1 or 2 weeks to draft the indictment. And when they draft the indictment, it comes again to the commissioner for review. The commissioner reviews, and the decision is taken whether to charge to court before the matter is taken to court. So the way how the public dealt with that issue is like they thought that we should just take this woman to court now.
So, Mr.
It doesn't
Commissioner,
happen.
are you aware
We have processes.
that even when the commissioner, even when you are on TV now,
Yes.
you have so many people who want to listen to you.
Correct.
And if you have just an ordinary man sitting here on TV, many people will not be interested. So when you do something that is not of you as Francis Benkefala, even when you are not in your office, it's newsy. So this is the more reason why the public is interested in the issue of the wife of the Clerk of Parliament, because he is in a position where people are looking up to him, and his wife, well, maybe to him because the whole issue is around the clerk. It is because of the clerk that people are interested in it, not really the wife.
Look, we are very happy with the public being interested. One of the things I've always said, a few weeks ago, I was here in this studio, and my brother there was interviewing me, and I told him that one of the successes of our fight against corruption is how well we have articulated the issue of corruption, so much so that even the ordinary man today understands. But also, the degree of interest of the Sierra Leonean when issues of corruption come up is at its highest level. Usually, that is an indicator of a country that is about to change. That's a country that is about to reposition itself. We are at a tipping point where everybody understands what exactly corruption is. So we are very happy and pleased when the public are interested in issues like this. Okay? So our problem is not the interest of the public. We want to discuss, we want to follow the conversation. Sometimes I follow the conversations and I laugh. Sometimes there are misconceptions, sometimes there are misunderstandings. But that is why I myself, I am here this morning. Okay? To clarify some of these issues. And one of the clarifications I am making is that, one, it is not true that because payment has been made, that is the end of the matter.
Okay.
It was a condition of being. The other thing I am clarifying is that corruption investigations follow processes and procedures. We are professionals.
But the thing is that
in our professional responsibilities, we have to make sure that certain things are done, certain due diligence are followed before we can take action.
Okay.
So sometimes the public just has to be patient with us, and that is that patience that.
But it is that you don't have, you are yet to have, sufficient evidence, for you to prosecute, because the revised Anti-Corruption Act actually gave you prosecutorial powers. But that is not that. Now the thing is, in our news business, we say, when a dog bites a man, it's no news. But when a man bites a dog, it is news. So that is why
it depends on the man again that the dog bites. Because there are certain men, if the dog bites them, it will be news everywhere. Anyway, go on.
So tell us, do you have intention to prosecute? Because we are talking about a very high-profile person, let's say person Van the administrative head of another arm of government, which happens to be Parliament, which makes him a very powerful man. So, are there plans to prosecute Mr. Pagan?
What I have told you is there is an investigation ongoing, and that investigation follows processes and procedures. The investigations are going to be concluded. You focus on Paran alone, but a thing like this has many actors. Okay, there is Paran, who is the head, and it's like the commission, something like this happening. Like my wife is recruited at ACC. Okay, obviously people will ask questions of me. What about the HR people? What about the other supervisory people who work in that department? What about the finance people? Why did this take 17 months to come out? these are all things that we cannot just gloss over.
But the thing is
We
that
have to
the thing is
take
that the
our
lady in
time
question, Mr.
go through
Kafala,
processes and procedures that will get
the
there.
lady in question is also a Sierra Leonean, just like you and I. You understand? And she's, she has all the rights
To be employed if
employed.
she has the
So
qualification.
the employment is not really what the concern is.
It is.
The concern is that she was employed and she was receiving money or salary for which she was not working for. It's not about her employment because she has the right to be employed because she is a Sierra Leonean.
Now, let me stop you there. Fundamentally, you are mistaking two things. Yes, she's a Sierra Leonean. Two, she has the right to be employed. But there is something called conflict of interest. Okay? So, for example, the Director General of SNBC, who has a wife as a Sierra Leonean, if he's going to recruit that wife at the SNBC, there are processes and procedures you have to follow to avoid what we call conflict of interest. Okay? So it is not correct that she has the right to be employed and she can just be employed at SNBC. If the law requires that you have to first of all declare your connection to that person in writing to the body that has the power to recruit. So you have to write, for example, if this was going to happen, first of all, Mr. Parantarawali has said that he was not aware that his wife was recruited in Parliament.
Wow.
Okay, that is his general defense. That is what he has told us. We are investigating. So we give him the benefit of that at this stage. But if indeed his wife was recruited at Parliament, what ought to have been done is a letter coming from him to the parliamentary committee that is responsible for recruitment, clearly stating that this is my wife, she has applied for a job in Parliament, and I am making it clear that she's my wife. And then when you do that, you remove yourself from the process leading to that recruitment. So you cannot exercise any form of authority or control over the recruitment.
So the issue is conflict of interest.
If the body that is now responsible for that recruitment decides nonetheless to say, even though you have written this letter, but because this person has this qualification and we want to employ her, then you are within your right for her to be employed. That is the first fundamental thing that I need to correct. The second thing, apart from conflict of interest, now comes to what you're saying, the question of whether indeed, in fact, the recruitment was a proper recruitment. Because if it were a proper recruitment, how will you receive salary for 1 year, for 17 months? There has to be administrative processes to pick these things up.
All right.
There has to be control systems. So the question we have is, what is the general control system in Parliament to make sure that these things do not repeat themselves? So there are two dimensions.
So,
All right,
Mr. Commissioner, quickly, Sheku, are there
Okay.
ways for you to recommend that the clerk be set aside for now so that investigations will continue? Because if you look in the case of the others, for example, the guys at the Ministry of Finance, they are still in custody, even though we've not been told whether they will not be going to work for now. They are going to wait until after the investigation.
I mean, like I have said, our laws are very clear. The only time we can ask for somebody to step aside is after we've charged you to court.
Oh, okay.
So once we file an indictment against you in court and serve it on you, a letter is written to whosoever is responsible to remove you from office to say this person cannot continue in office pending trial. But because we have not yet done, that's another thing the public has to understand. It is not that Ben Kaifala wants the clerk of Parliament to remain in office. It's because the stage at which Ben Kaifala can exercise that right has not reached. And that is the thing we have to clarify, and you people, the journalists, have to help us for the public to understand.
That's why we are asking this question.
Correct, and that's why I'm very happy for you this morning.
No, come back to you.
Thank you very much.
He is Francis Ben Kaifala, Commissioner of the country's anti-graft agency, the ACC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, and the program you're still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. We are going for a very short break and we'll be right back.